table. Also Isa Balde and Fatou Balde, please, can you join? I think we have extra 3. Please, can you join the high table before we start, please? As a tradition in the Gambia, if we start any gathering or any meeting, we start with prayers. So therefore, I call all of us to pray silently in our own way for God's protection and guidance whilst we go through this process. Next on the agenda, we're supposed to have the national anthem. Did you prepare for it? Thank you. We want to welcome every individual who is here to attend and to be present during this very, very important press conference. We want to thank the media houses for coming to attend this, and we want to encourage you to ensure that you report exactly what is stated here so that we can amplify our voices outside in relation to the issue at hand. We want to also thank our people, especially the women and young ladies who came all the way to show solidarity from our communities all over the Gambia in the regions to show their concern that FGM is harmful to women and girls, and that as a community, as a society, we should definitely end it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to inform this conference that the purpose of this conference is to review our commitment as ESOs and show solidarity with survivors to advocate for the abandonment of all forms of harmful traditional practices like FGM and other forms of violence against women and girls in the country. We also want to demand from the National Assembly members to uphold duty to protect the rights and well-being of all citizens irrespective of gender, sex, religious belief, ethnicity, political affiliation, or any other status by voting against the repealing of the Women Amendment Act 2015. We want to also call on the primary duty bearer, which is the government of the Gambia, to take a stand to uphold, protect, and promote the rights of women and girls by protecting and enforcing all the laws that protect women and girls from violent and harmful traditional practices, particularly the Women Amendment Act 2015. To also inform the general public that we are not against Islam, but we are against traditional practices that are harmful to our women and girls, and we request for the support of communities and religious leaders to end harmful practices that are all forms of violence against women and children in our community. This is the purpose of this conference, and we hope that the UTPRS, we hope the National Assembly members, we hope our community leaders, especially the religious leaders, would have our call to ensure that together we protect the people that we love so dearly to us with our women, our girls in our communities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, having said this, we go by the program. We want to call upon Mrs. Our Youth Peter to give a remark on behalf of FLAG in this regard, especially from a legal perspective. Our
Peter's next to you. I would like to start by emphasizing that FGMC, female genital mutilation, and the practice of it violates human rights, including the rights to health, security, and physical integrity of women and girls. As a country, we are bound by international human rights treaties, conventions that condemn FGMC as a human rights violations, especially human rights treaties and conventions that the Gambia is a signatory to. These, of course, include the Convention on the Rights of Children, the MOPO Protocol, and many other international human rights treaties and conventions. Upholding the ban on FGMC aligns with our commitment under international law and reaffirms our dedication to advancing human rights in the Gambia of women and girls. After many years of evidence-based research and advocacy, in 2015, the Parliament passed a law to ban harmful practice. This ban on the practice of FGMC in Gambia was an important step toward safeguarding the rights and dignity of women and girls in the Gambia, but also part of the Gambia international human rights obligation. 7 years later, we are deeply saddened that such a progressive law geared towards safeguarding rights of women and children is now being threatened. The Female Lawyers Association of the Gambia is therefore today gathered here with our colleagues in civil society to raise our voices to continue to strongly advocate against this harmful practice. We are advocating for maintaining the existing law, the legislative ban on FGMC, as well as continue enforcement of the law against FGMC. We strongly urge National Assembly members not to lift the prohibition on this harmful practice. By upholding the ban on FGMC, legislators demonstrate a firm commitment to protecting the rights and welfare of women and girls throughout the Gambia. We stand here to call upon legislators to reinforce the existing laws and for law enforcement, health workers, and other relevant stakeholders to implement further measures to protect women and girls from the physical, the psychological, and the emotional consequences of FGMC. So we join the rest of civil society and all those advocating for the rights of women and girls in the Gambia for the law to be upheld and for the law not to be repealed. Thank you.
of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Emmanuel Diouf, to also give a remark, especially from a human rights perspective, on this issue, which is the issue relating to repeal of the FGM law in the Gambia.
So, just to tell you, of course, you all know the stance of the National Human Rights Commission, an institution that is set up to promote and protect fundamental rights of everybody living within the jurisdiction of the Gambia. Female genital mutilation, if you listen to the earlier speaker, it is a human rights violation. The Gambia is not a country in isolation. We are signatories, as she has said, many international and regional conventions and treaties, which obligates the Gambia to do away with harmful traditional practices. Not only that, not only have we subscribed to these international regional treaties, one of them is actually the Maputo Protocol. I need to say it because a lot of people will say that these are Western ideals, which is an African convention. But not only that, based on, over the years, research that has been conducted, as you had rightly said, FGM is a hazard to girls and women. Not only that as well, it is performed on children who do not have a choice, vulnerable. And the research is there, in-country research and also international research, showing the harmful practices, the profound effect, the negative aspect of FGM. So that is very clear. But not only that, perhaps maybe I should just dilate a bit, since we are talking about human rights. It's very easy for people to say it's our culture. See, yes, in a country, if you look at the provision in their laws, it talks about respect for cultural norms and practices. But that is never absolute, because culture is dynamic. So any culture affects the health of its citizens, culture cannot stand the test of time. And this is very simple. If you look at, I was giving this the other day, I told them of some cultural practices within Africa, like among the Ibo tribes, where twins were actually, because they felt they were an abomination. In some cultures, it is albinos who are killed or gotten rid of. So we have had, culture is dynamic in a society. So just because you quickly say it's culture, doesn't stand the test of time. As lawyers, we all know, and legal practitioners, a culture that is repugnant, that is proven to be harmful, cannot stand the test of time. And I think we should bury that, and we understand when we say, oh yes, we could all claim that our cultural practices is this, and we should go by it. And it's very important. That is why we have the state. It is the duty of the state to respect, protect, fulfill, and prevent the harm of the children and women of this country. And they should know. It is a fact. Another point I need to make is that the National Assembly members are the guardians of human rights, rule of law. They have supervisory jurisdiction over us to the extent that when a law comes for them, one of the things that they always do is to make sure that human rights is streamlined. So therefore, it is shocking that a private member's bill even emanated that is setting back all the gains that were made. This was before the Amendment Act. A lot of campaign, there has been studies have been done. So the criminalizing FGM didn't just happen like that. It was based on evidence. So it's therefore shocking. It is actually coming from a private member's bill. Those who are supposed to be the guardian of human rights and rule of law, the protectors of our women. So I think these are the things that we need to make very, very, very clear. Now, tomorrow is the vote. We know it's the second reading. The National Human Rights Commission, we've been very clear. We have been mandated to promote human rights. That's what we do. And we have also advised the members, give all this information, whether the law, the health hazards, among other things, that it is there tomorrow. Everybody will look at them and say, vote against this bill, kill it. There is no need to even start taking it to committee stage. Listen, the repeal that is sought is very clear. It wants to repeal the criminalization of female genital mutilation. The danger is if you take it to committee stage, the danger, you may open a can of worms by starting the debate of medicalization. And the Maputo Protocol is very clear about it. And this is the regional protocol of Africa, that not only is it a harmful traditional practice, it should not be medicalized or paramedicalized. So this is very clear. These issues are clear, and I think somebody needs to come out and say it is. So if you take the committee, the danger is that you'll open a can of worms and start looking at options. Some are even saying perhaps when a girl reaches puberty. We know the kind of society we have. A girl can reach puberty at 12. They will take what their parents will tell them. So I think these are gimmicks and ways of going around the law. The law against law prohibiting FGM should stay, and I think what we should be looking at is to see how we are going to empower women and girls for a nation. I think it should be the debate, and not FGM. I don't know. Yeah, Mami, I'm gonna dig. Wow. More all of nak. Hana ma wax direct ci olof bi. Suma ca nga digli ma. Way li ñoo wax yi mooy aaxi ak yàlla doom aadama te ñun suñ mbootaay tuddee National Human Rights Commission looloo ñu nekk fi loolu lañ fi nekkal te nag ñu ngi wax mbiri xarafal jongal jigéen waaye nag loolu soo xoolee ñun Gambia bokk na si mbootaay yi nekk si àdduna si yëpp United Nations African Commission, African Charter on Human and People Rights, Rights of Children. Daaw bañ xoolee yëpp ñoom seen bopp nañ ne mbiri jongal jigéen li ñoo wax ne xam ne is a harmful traditional practice. Dafay lorande loolu dafa lore. It's proven su xoolee docteur yi def nañ kisi nañ def nañ si seen research gis nañ ne dafa so léegi nag pour ñu war a Gambie égoon na jamono yoo xam ne ak ñu ngi ñoo xool ne Gambie de ñoom nag dëgg su xoolee seen luwa dëgg fonk nañ mbiri jigéen lii 2015 lañ ko criminalize 2015 9 years down the line 2015 2024 ñu bëgg a delloo gannaaw léegi ne dañoo door a di xarafal jigéen te ñun xam nañ ne soo rafalee jigéen dañoo évidence boobu moom mu ngi fa soo xoolee report si nekk foofu di nga gis jigéen ñu def through it waaw dina am ñu bari dinañ wax ne kii ak yi def na ko waaye soo dig nga xool lan la docteur wax ak lim de lor jigéen li loi boo xam ne dañ ko war a génnee tey ji nag ñu am ëllëg député yi ñu ngi pour ne ndax dañ ko war a delloo si dañ ko war a bàyyi niñ ko defee waaye li leen di wax mooy loi boobu loo gaay yu ko tëral dafa lor jigéen nañ ko génne so it's as simple as that yaa imam soo ne di nga gën a leeral affaire si wolof jërëjëf
du ma bëgg a leeral benn tomba rek bu am solo wax na ko fi ma bëgg a leeral loolu ci ëpp solo ci li bàyyi wareef la lu ñu war a def thank you
very, very important statement. The state is being called upon for the government to uphold and protect the law that is guaranteeing human rights, especially for our women, which is the Women Amendment Act, protecting them from this harmful practice. Next on the agenda, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to call on one of the survivors, one of the young ladies who has undergone this practice and has experienced it. And I think we have been calling, especially to the National Assembly or on the National Assembly and on especially the religious leaders who are advocating for the repealing of this law to hear the voices of survivors. These are the people who are experiencing the pain. They are the ones who knows how harmful is this practice. It's not me who is a man or any other man. And therefore, we should listen to them. And the National Assembly members should definitely listen to the voice of survivors. Then they will make the right decision. So we call on Pendaba to please give a statement on behalf of the survivors on this very important occasion. Penda, please.
I would prefer to speak in Malika language because many people cannot understand English and we are not always speaking to people who can read and write. Assalamu alaikum. Ntetu mwenda barati. Nda esba. Ngamera mo maye suntele. Mo jamaye lene. mu politician oti mu young activity ti nyalon ko mpanambe musola nyantole farka ani dinding saka sun dindingol okay ntem FGM survivor ti andu mo molti nyalon ko mbenyi FGM ko nan fight kam iko uno feel sick no si ntem muso muso mo fenneti mi yalon ko ntol be ngana ni atre mo muso ku be min ka kela ibu hani ibu ka finno ka fo so ni tata social media sometimes ku fa buka die manke kumboti because mune atina ke mi yalon ko de go to FGM wala manta nyaka tala iman kulonje itolla die wala be siari ila diamo siari ni ko ta kam tay tol yalon ne how it feels niaje ni kono nye kono sto ikin la faro min be sabu ni la faro min kake musol FGM wala katina because dan to mi yalo ko sinna language bal but be janne ka nyaka to ko dan to mi yalo ko wala ki ma ko yeyele no ye wuluno ni o kun ha iti mune mira mune be ke lawoto akole yala latina la faro kake ni sukiro fana ni FGM boka ni nyaka to tabuke sukiro tala nyaaje se mol suki kaybe sukutol suki kay bakala mutafallum men be futula woto lumen be ila ila ke wala woto FGM ka sabu ike dundi dame ika wosiro ke dame je fananto so imila wo pe fon wala de ite ko ye samba FGM foka pare ye nana ye samba ike ya kote ke wolu la foy sita ye samba kote ke nyaka to andu wota na la fana ini ke mama affaire to the same day so imagine rek that pain so anante ba fola sometimes ninte fokam fan niyo ka ya bakele because ika men sol min je social media diminta bakele musol bete fitinola gambia musol bete fitinola ya faale ko munebe kering hani islam to muso mo mi an ko da mo bukani ka ika mi be experience ya ko woto mon min ka hani finti ka koresto al nyan la moy la wala ka fo ko bari aka musol be affect ti wolo nyaadi ite wolo nyaadi na mo be affect foye musol be nyinen kawa musol min ka fa me affect maybe ya ke nyamen itol ye ke nyamen so ka fo ko nani fulo ka fa nyamen ya do ako battera honum ayen dum fof wala ta duron fentele la mune o be sabu afu ko ala ke duron ka dol na fala buka na fa ala nga bula completely wala ndiya moti ala nga je mutar ntede foni kan politician andu contest for the National People Party as a councilor ni election min tamida nak pen ben kam min fo musolla ko on ka wala ko la ba on dol kan ka diam tulo de ka fanya penda kan nyina to la manke muso nyanto damati be wala fola il campagne yoto so wala tan ni lota non e ninte gagné tan man gagné ban ninte gagné tan woto ci dama be kelantela woto woto be politician be dani la mi ya be foni West Coast ali mo alkana la interest de on jibe alkana la interest jibe wota la votes mi alon kan dol ko wala ko ni a jintol be nyinkala nintol ma nyinke maybe next time they will vote it on in so wala tina mbe politician mi ya ko be West Coast mbe dani kan pour ya jibe ka ila interest be bari national interest jibe muso interest jibe dinni wal fana interest jibe saka dinni mi ya ko they don't have to say saint momi ya ko be 6 months 6 years wote di amona la ka fo al kan ken ata lon so after lem nte ka fo ninte ngal don ni atra wota se di amona mba fa na parents wala al kan samba nyinto because nte ngala kami experience ta be fo no yang bare kami fo musol ya ni ke wol malo musol ya lone oto benna di am kay ngila jang ka jama bi jami'a ko fana lafta di ala baraka.
And as Ben said, see who experiences knows best. So, as I said earlier on, we should listen to the voice of survivors if we want to do what is right and if we want to take the actions that are correct. Thank you very much, Penda, for that statement. Now, next on the agenda, we have Dr. Dafe. Dr. Dafe is also a medical practitioner who has I've been working in medical fields in the Gambia, worked in different hospitals in the Gambia for a long time, and has seen with his eyes the effect of FGM. He has done some research in this area, and this is why we also invited him to join us to make a statement during this press conference so that people would know that this practice really have some negative health consequences, and that's why we are advocating to ensure that it is abandoned in the Gambia. Doctor, you welcome, please.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for giving me the floor. My assignment this afternoon is to tell you about the medical complication of the FGMC. I'm not representing any medical fraternity. I'm not representing any hospital. I'm representing myself as somebody who believes women also have right and dignity to live in this country. I've worked as a medical doctor for the past 15 years. Started my medical career at the Edward Francis Multi Hospital and then later to Carnegie General Hospital. In Carnegie General Hospital, I spent most of my time at the lay ward. For 10 years, I've been working there, delivering women and also operating on these women who are able to deliver on their own. I'm also a focal person for survival of gender-based violence. We have a unit that I'm head. We call it One Stop Center. I think my center is a center that has seen a huge number of cases of ANTI-FGM in this country. If you could all recall, I was called to TRC to testify on the level of the sexual violence in this country, which also included FGM. I think I'm in a position to tell the whole nation that some of the effects that the women are facing with regards to the FGM and FGMC. I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about culture. But medically, I've seen women who suffered as a result of the practice. First of all, I want to start with we have to understand our situation on the ground, the Gambia. In the medical profession, I believe that anybody who should touch a person to operate must have the sound medical knowledge. You know what you are doing. You must know the structure of what you are doing. The environment in which you want must be sterile, avoid infection and other complications. Unfortunately, in our circumstances, that's not the case. Look at our circumstances. Where they circumcised, where they have medical. No. In fact, the structure that you are putting, there are so many structures in the woman, female genital that have functions. All these structures are there for something. You need to know why you are cutting. You need to know what is the function of that before you cut. Unfortunately, our circumciser does not know the importance or does not know the anatomy and the complications that may arise when they cut those structures. There are so many health consequences with regards to FGMs. These are an eyewitness account I've seen in the hospitals. First, I will start with Banjo when I was a young doctor. It was a day that I was on duty. A woman came from Bas, and this woman was badly cut by a circumcised in Ansimba because she said they had an infection when to Ansimba. And I cut the urethra. The urine was flowing. She immediately developed fistula. And that woman has to undergo another surgery for it. Because the Ansimba or the circumciser does not know what she was cutting. You don't know the structure. Yes, you want to treat the infection, but you are not trained in that area. So you just cut and then you just put that woman into pain and then also suffering. The second, when I went to Carnegie in 2013, often I've been working in the labor department, labor ward, and I'm also heading the one-stop center, the sexual and gender-based violence. In the labor ward, we have a delivery code that shows any woman that delivers their type of FGM, type 1, 2, and 3. In the book, most of the cases we see is type 2 and 3, and also has it outcomes. Either it's a bleeding or it has been doing episiotomy needs to increase that woman for it to be delivered safely. So it comes to all those complications. So it tells you how level of the complications that these women experience. Besides, in the same ward, I remember in 2015, there was a young girl that was put to jail. This was circumcised by the grandmother. They came early out of the morning. When I saw them there and I asked about what has happened, they said that they circumcised this young girl a day prior, and but the bleeding could not stop. So because it was night, they could not come. They came in the morning. When I examined the child, 5-year-old, was motionless, no sign of life. The girl was dead because of the bleeding. Even the wrapper that she came with was soaked with blood. God is my witness if I'm telling lies to this guy. Also, I've seen in my clinical practice a man who came with a wife was in labor. This woman, the midwife, the cake, usually does the traditions before the doctor comes. They call attention that there is no opening to this woman. I said, no, it's not possible. How did the woman get pregnant? There is a hole. So when I came, I examined, there is a pinhole. Even a pen could enter. But the woman was pregnant and was in labor. All because of the complication of the FGM or FGMC. So that woman I took to the theater. I operated, did the cesarean section in this woman, and also open up the womb, de-infibulate. Also in my clinical practice, the December and January, the month of Ramadan and month before Ramadan, are mad festival months in Zambia. My experience of that in this period, many women come to the hospital, especially those who are newlywed, married, to be de-infibulated. It happened to some of my colleagues, my family members in situation. It's a very terrible situation. You have to localize the women, give them anesthesia. Some of them you have to take them to the theater. You open them up for them to be able to have sexual intercourse at the end of the day with their husband. So they will be taken back to their husband immediately, very late. I don't think the women should undergo this kind of suffering. And for me, as far as I'm concerned, as a medical doctor, the harm outweighs the benefit, as far as I'm concerned. Because we don't have to look at one woman saying, I don't have any complication, or I didn't experience any complication. So it means that the rest of women do not. No, we concentrate on people who are suffering. In my medical practice, for example, in Carnegie, we deliver 5,000 women, but some die, 10 of them. We audit every death, and that's where we concentrate. Why? Because we don't want to see any complication. We want to see any suffering of women. And that's why we concentrate on those who are affected or those who died. So with regards to FGMs, the people who are affected seek our service every day. Of course, the people that we're talking on behalf of. And we said if this practice will continue, our circumstances, who has no medical knowledge, who has no training, who does not know the anatomy, physiology, and will continue for this young woman, I don't think it's fair to them. I don't think it's fair to women. Looking at our situation as a country, I think, as a medical practitioner, these circumstances should stop cutting these young women. But I don't know for my kind of fellow, but I met a doctor who sangitan not good at the Bible, the kind of Beje cabin to be touching. Daka Boko Musola to Daka, and the Fanamo, the Yaton Kara, maybe the Musola Manto, Nadi Baby, Yakon, a commentary, the fireman, Gavaje was stop center and television Yaton Kara. Itu leka okay solid. Kama ngafa nyatwa kwa nyendo ko no aje ko nyakata amantoro ndi musola amanje la fa nyante fonye ndi mbole sata purale to nya mo muso be ye bante na mena se diam no because muso moment kata ka wuli bula kata mo mo ni sa loko andi kam ko re fo kata mo ta ti loko mo ro ti loko ngamero mari sem fono je muso kata muso la awratu men kat manto men ke subele dan sombo dano ka te musike fla don na foto ate dor naje be ate bo don na afo ani menke je dum ko atara do ko nga mero mari la di amno lo ko so ngam fo no la ko tele experience yen ko so do man toro so de nya ka ta because ele ka do ko e ma do ko no e ka men ko ma le ka men ko imalo yela sili malakataje imalo ko naf malakataje ito ko kontrol ko no mato kana muso kan do muso to mato fo ngam je wala dino 2015 dino bonna tuje o dino ni abasanje ala Allah samana ikaba mala samanya fo so manda ina ta kabri ngache ko mbe juti dino ni wa banta parce antara balur ngeñi ni gal même fano men na ro be ni be yelo ke ara rapa so ngeñi ni gal ya samanya ka bari yelo ngal so ku da so manda fo so manda o din ni ban bantal bi ko fanda ta ban o foro anyo fana ngado fa je meno ko anake man ba tingola ba no so ya ko mo dulaje je meno sabu tingola futula no mo so la ko yo ye close so kaben na ngaje ko da undi ne be je peno to no la e come ngam ko mo so la har ko man dengi ndaka ko anyanta la satisfaction so la foto la satisfaction so lo foto da ne ko no ma ay manyu to fen o do be je wole di be wulu foya ina mana ni fo la ni dia so le o confess ta te banna clinique ko de ko nyoko docteur manam foto da dia di mo be wulu o isa bala fa manya na kadi soro doro so so nyi nada samba ya tanga operate ngadi ni wonde ko la na ye fan sa tan ki o so fu ado na experience fan ko no na cdr fan ko no banjul ka be muso nyi bon na passé olum fan be jude suto aka fo ke to so do ata simbaya ko nga simbaya mo men ka dinno sa nyaka amara men ko ata muso la yu su asilo ni awlo ko ranzi so suna le bo muso la fano ni business na ka fa ba ko ka fa so muso nyanya ta opera so ni di be ko men nga fanya December karo ani January ka jamaje ban fonni jol mi to bi kana ba ko ko men kan experience la fala anu futo ka siya ne ba ko ka o to jama kana o la ila li o dol be je ka musu ni o wato jama wala lofta ita da tilkilim fa sabaye di je le ma futan no e kana lofta da ke bon last de ni mamo le conference do kairaba ngafu okola mo sabana wala ko te ko conference okola the same problem so ambende da kada sa ga fu ko aro wato so futu ta do na lofta no do fa buru nga simbale o nga simbale mo de mutana be mutla di mo de tarla so ni na jibe inka man to rajam di musul man to sia ya ona mo ya no buka lono mo be dinko fons ko la do man sa fertility do be je fu la ko la so ko do complain fon fu kan dimile to sia so se men fono do ni muske bal mera ko ko e malo so do ni malo do so de mo tare an do so ka fu mama la be nke ka ni mon tawti o ma maria do so ati ngo mo mi se ko ba so ni muske wali ta polanda amanke la do ko male ko non ko ni a ko be man to rodo da musul wassalam
Thank you, Doctor, for enlightening us on the health consequences of FGM. Next on the agenda, we have Imam Babali, who would also give us a bit on the religious aspects, because this is also an issue that many people would say that because religion and some instances is obligatory in Islam, and that's why we should continue to practice. So we want to ask Imam to dive on this aspect a bit.
الرجيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على مبعوث رحمة للعالمين بشيرا ونذيرا محمد بن عبد الله على آله وصحبه أجمعين. My brothers and sisters, I must start with thanking civil society that organized this important forum, because in this important forum, I can call it as it is. I'm not very much comfortable in my pulpit to call it as it is, why we are there to worship. But here, we are here to discuss. I'm very thankful to the four speakers who make my load very light. They make it very light. Because really seeing Ms. Bah and listening to her, with the experience I personally have, I'm fuller, as somebody who belongs to this tradition, if you ask for any other evidence, I don't know what kind of evidence you need now. And with Dr. Dafe, with his clarification, we are in line with the fatwas of Azhar University, one of the most respected university in the whole world, in the Islamic world in particular. I don't know what evidence you are asking in for. Adding to it, my fellow imams, especially Sheikh Imam Abdullahi Fati, the big bully, he's a big bully. I'm telling you. He's bullying the whole country, including the lawmakers. This is the fact. He's a bully. Some lawmakers contacted me saying, Baba, you know, we know you are right, we know he's not right, but if you don't mind, they'll vote us out. So that's only, he terrorized them. But with all his stand on this issue, with all his in this issue, he speaks the same language, he's in the same page with most of us, in the sense that they condemn themselves, they condemn FGM, female genital mutilation, they condemn it, they say it's haram. They condemn sealing a young child, the girl, called in Mandinka Noto, called in Pular Sukude, that's why they call it Sukere, called it Wall of Fata. They all condemn it. In Arabic, they call it Tanul Fir'auni, the pharaoh's female genital mutilation. And this mutilation includes so many things. But what they advocate for, just listen to them. I don't know how some people think. What they're advocating for, they said, you slice, don't go deep. They try to quote Hadith Atiyya or Abu Dawood. They use Atiyya as a reference to this Hadith. They said, the Holy Prophet said, quote, light, don't go deep. Now the medical professionals are asking, not me, I'm not a medical practitioner, but they are asking, what is light in somebody's organ? What is light? On somebody's organ. There's no light in it. The other thing is, the medical practitioner's ethics does not allow any person to cut somebody's organ without a medical justification to save life. And they all agree. So really, I will add the hadith they are using, they know it better than I do. It's not an authenticated hadith, but still they are saying it can be used. So if we are to use it, there's authenticated hadith that they all know, as I do it, saying, Da'ma yurid ila ma la yurid. Leave what is not clear to you and go for the one that is very clear for you, especially on somebody's body. And historically, we all know how it originated from between Hajara and Sarata. I will not go into it because it's from Musukebals to Manuals. It was out of, Kilia, it was out of jealousy. So really, my task here is very simple. And I feel personally each and every engagement has a retirement. I have been engaging with this work since 1981 with Mrs. Fiatu Singate, at times with Farmata Tambayan, at times with, may God, Allahumma aghfirla warhamha, Miss Juana Mbai, and other very elderly women, highly respected women. They are the who pushed me to study this, to know it better. But most of them now passed away or age have dominated their activities. But the knowledge is still here with us. And we have done our quota. I have done my role. There was facility to travel so many different, to study the reality. When we went to Iran, the Iranian ulama was listening to tell them how it was, how they do it. They don't know it. If you go to Saudi Arabia, I heard that they're saying in a dialogue that is still practiced in Saudi. That's not true. It's 10 years jail minimum for everybody practicing in Saudi Arabia. And history has revealed that none of our prophet practice on their folks. Really, we have done a job. We have advocated more than enough. Now it is left to our lawmakers, our medical professionals, and the government to take their responsibility. You see the chair you're enjoying today as MP, it's very temporal. But the conscience that you are going back to your bed and sleep is permanent for you. So really, I'm calling all our MPs to reflect 2 years back. These people who are advocating this practice, they were here when Jammeh was here. And the law was passed, they were all mute. None of them say a word. Yes. Instead, they were here to legitimize anything that Jammeh did. We all know Jammeh killed 9 inmates in one night, and still they are dead bodies to sing, and they legitimize it. They said Islam. I asked them at that time, which Islamic court has taken them to court? Where the dead body they be returned to their baby? Look, you see, you have to call it as is. I know 95% of the imams of this country are with me. They know I'm saying the truth, but they are sitting on top of the fence because they don't want to be bullied as I want to. For me, I don't mind. Let them bully. Let them say whatever they want. Do I care? No. And I will never care. Because I understand more than them. I travel more than them. I read more than them. And when it comes to reference, the whole world knows this Imam Babali. So really, I'm calling for my MPs, telling them there's life after MP. There was a life before MP. Let them help protect our movement. They are the biggest number that vote for them there. Even it's out of ignorance, they don't understand what people are talking. Let them not listen to the people with their eloquencies, their big beers, their big Haftar and turbine, convincing them. Allah is not that type. Allah is not that type. So I'm really glad. If you don't stop me, I'm going to forward again. But really, this kind of platform, I can say as it is. Then I can stop here without taking it all. Wow, lima doon wax rek. Wow, ñema tink ko. Lima doon wax rek moy ñi ka wax oyofal lañ suma en man. Ndax docteur bi wax na. Miss Ba wax na. Ak ñeneen ñu dut miss ba ci gannaaw te mënu ñoo wax. Isu bi neexu ta wax. En sawaru ci wax ko. Man di wax yan di do pol muy suma cosaan. Am docteur yu may jëflantel yu bari benn mistake la melni imam Abdoulaye Fati Cheikh imam Abdoulaye Fati ma oy ko nim bu Cheikh imam Abdoulaye Fati pour man babali rek la am happy with babali abuga suma tour bi mom ci bopam ñi ànd ak moom ñëpp ànd nañ ci ne ñetti jongali dafa haram ne waaye dog tuuti loolu dagan na ma ne la tuuti ci yarami doomi aadama saka cër bu mel noonu so sensitive ak bi ma utee ñoom ca suñ dayal ba ñu ne ñette yi am Gambia fu laa taxaw ne leen waxuma la ñette yi waaye juróom yi sax ngi Gambia dañ xamut lii suñ liggéey la juróom yi mboolem xeeti jongal yi mu ngi Gambia docteur yaa ngi nii am na ñu ma toll ci taabul bi xam naa maa ñoo ma nekkoon Amérique bañ koo liggéey du ma tudd kenn nag kon ci tënka lii suñ demoon benn sunna la ñun ñëpp ñu ne sunna la d'accord sunna la lanay sunna mooy loo dem ba mag tànnal ko sa bopp te bu ci lor ne man aji màkka farata pila la ci islam waaye nguur gi ak àddina si ak waa màkka ñu ne balaa ngaa dem màkka demal dog seeta wér gu yaram su d'accord wér nga mun ngaa dem ñëwal su d'accord bàyyil ponk boobu te du tee nga jullit sa kan bee gënal islam aj bi ñu ñëpp xam nañ ne islam daf la may ñu ngi ci weeru koor soo demee ba bugg a or bi bugg laa gét nga gis docteur yi jullit mu ne la bul or du